Going on, ladies and gents? It's Chase with Semi Pros Garage, and the day has officially come. Engine build day. So today we're going to be going through the process of putting this motor together. You guys will get to see that kind of step by step. I'll probably end up clipping it together piece by piece instead of doing like a time loop or lapse or whatever. So we'll probably start with the cam install. Then we'll do, the retainer plate, timing set, oil pump, front cover, rear cover, all that good stuff. So, and then we'll do the oil pan, pickup tube, all that fun stuff on the bottom end of the motor. So, I'm going to start the video by saying we'll probably end up getting most of the motor built today. The only thing we're probably going to be waiting on is cylinder heads. So I won't install. I'll put in the lifter trays, but I won't install the lifters. Obviously, when I go to rotate the motor over, those are just going to fall out with no cylinder head. So I will hold off on doing that, but we'll get to the point where it's a fully assembled short block. Other than the cylinder head. So that'll be another video. We'll do cylinder heads and the lifter install, and I'll show you guys how to check for proper push rod length and the process of doing that. I probably will also show in this video how to set timing properly and get a baseline, get a base mark on your crank pulley with your cylinder 1 at top dead center, so that way what is top dead center marked on your actual crank pulley. On your crank pulley, it's not just going to be 0 as top dead center. You need to be able to rotate the motor clockwise, put a line on your crank damper, and then go counterclockwise. Top dead center is going to be directly between those two lines, and there is going to be a little bit of a space there. So you'll be able to, whenever you go to the motor's fully assembled and you go to check timing and set it properly, set the firing angle on your ECU, you know exactly what true top dead center is, and you can adjust your firing angle to make sure that whenever you go to rev the motor or make a pass on the car, your timing is actually true to the motor, and you're not advanced or retard by however many degrees. So you guys will see the process of that also in this video. We're going to be waiting on a crank damper for probably a couple days though, so this video will just kind of get clipped together as we go, and hopefully uploaded in a relatively short amount of time. So just bear with me on this deal, and we're going to go ahead and clip it now, and you guys will get to see the next step is going to be get this fully unwrapped, and then like I said, I'm probably going to do the cam install, show a little bit of that, and then the timing set, and so on and so forth. So this is for your rear cover, this is for your front timing cover, and you'll be able to use this plate here that secures to the bottom of the front of the motor here, and that way it makes sure that you get a flat mating surface for your front timing cover to the block. So when you put the oil pan on, everything is completely flush. So you guys will probably get to see that as well. So right now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and prep the camshaft for install. So I'm not going to, you guys will be able to see that it's got waistcoat pistons and some boost rods and everything, but I'm not going to go into the specifics on the actual setup on the motor and what we have for rod piston combo and crank and all that stuff, and probably won't show the spec of the camshaft, but you guys will get to see how you're supposed to install that camshaft, which I'll go ahead and do that now. And then we'll do our retaining plate with our Loctite on the bolts for that, and then do our timing set, oil pump, and then one of the modifications I've already had to do is, because we have a Moroso pan and a Moroso pickup tube, the windage tray had to be drilled out and kind of sanded down and everything to fit the ARP main studs and all that fun stuff. So we had to kind of fabricate a little bit of the windage tray to make everything fit. You guys will see that whenever we go to put the pickup tube and everything on. I'll flip the motor over and you'll get to see that. So kind of already ran into some stuff that we weren't really expecting. But what we're going to do now, let's go ahead and prep this to be installed. Thread those in a little bit, decent amount, so that you're not, that way you can still have leverage and be able to rotate the camshaft, but not worry about damaging the threads. So now we're going to take our assembly lube, which what I use is the Ultra Slick. This is like a really thick engine lube, so if the motor is going to be sitting for a little while, like this one probably will be, this will be a good assembly lube for you to use. I'm just going to coat the crap out of it. Now, when we install this camshaft, you need to rotate the camshaft as you're putting it in. So we'll put a little bit of assembly lube there. We already did the rear bearing, camshaft bearing. So as we install this, we're just going to kind of rotate it, be nice and easy, and rotate this into place. So that way we're not causing any damage or anything to the camshaft or the bearings or anything while we're installing this in. And it might take a little bit of time, but just make sure you're taking your time to get this right. Which anybody who's ever done this already knows all this stuff, but let's just pretend you haven't. There we go. And we are all the way seated. And I like to just kind of rotate it around a little bit to make sure that I'm sitting on the right spot. Now, we're going to go ahead and clip the video now, so that way I don't make this process way long and I have like an hour-long video to upload. But what we're going to do now is we're going to install the cam retaining plate on here, get the plate centered, use a little bit of assembly lube or oil on the O-ring that seals here. Red Loctite or blue Loctite. I mean, red's not going to be like, you know, you're going to be able to get it back off. It's a smaller bolt. It's not like you're putting it on with 100 foot-pounds. So these are, I believe, 22 or 28 foot-pounds. We'll use Loctite on those. Then we'll go ahead and get the timing gear, or the timing gears, and then the oil pump on the front of the motor. So whenever I get back in, you guys will, you know, come back onto the next part of this video. You guys will be able to see everything assembled and put together. So, all right, got the timing set on. You know, both sprockets, chain dampener, oil pump. In the earlier video, I said that the retainer plate was 22 or 26. It's actually 18 foot-pounds. So cam retainer plate is 18 foot-pounds. Oil pump bolts are 18 foot-pounds. Chain dampener, like guide bolts, are 18 foot-pounds. And the cam sprocket is what is 26 foot-pounds, I believe. So now that we got the whole front of the, you know, behind the timing cover taken care of, Now we're going to go ahead and put the front. Actually, I'm going to rotate the motor over and I'll go ahead and do the pickup tube and everything first. And then we will do the front timing cover, and we'll use the tool that I showed you guys that bolts to the bottom side of the block where the oil pan like would sit, and it'll square that timing cover up for us, make it flush with the block, and then we'll put our I guess our snout over the end of the crankshaft here, where the dampener and the crank bolt and everything would go, just to make sure that everything stays centered whenever we tighten it all down. So we'll go ahead and rotate the motor over now, and I'm going to do the pickup tube. And what I always get is the dual bolt flange for your pickup tube. So instead of having your standard flange where you have just the one bolt hole, and then sometimes you can run into oil pressure issues and things of that nature, O-ring problems. So I always run one of these by either ICT billet or Z-Whip, and always make sure, because your oil pump is going to come with multiple O-rings. It comes with two O-rings. Based on which I might be able to show you guys. Here we go. So it tells you, based on the design of the end of your pickup tube, if you have a pickup tube that is notched, basically kind of has like a bevel on it, I guess you could say, or it is an uneven, obviously the flange, it grows and gets bigger, you use the green O-ring that is supplied. But if you have a pickup tube like this, which is what ours is, which I should be able to show you that as well, which I got stuff everywhere. Here we go, it's in this. I already know that I'm gonna end up having to use that black O-ring. So here is our pickup tube. So as you can see, I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but that is a completely, there's no flange, and the diameter does not increase as it goes out. So what we're looking at is using the black supplied O-ring with our pickup tube. So we'll do that, and this will kind of show you too where this is just a single bolt. This goes down over, it'll actually go down over like this, or to go down over that, because this here drops down over this edge. So to actually go on like that. So I believe I'm thinking about that correctly. Yes. So that'll go on like that, and you guys will get to see the pickup tube and everything before once we do this, we're going to go ahead and put the oil pan on to get the bottom end of the motor sealed up. And we'll of course we'll do the timing cover first, then we'll do that. So I'll clip it now, and you guys will get to see the pickup tube installed. Don't know what type of modifications I may run into, so I'll go through that whenever we get to the point where everything's ready for the front timing cover to go on and the oil pan. Ended up having a little bit of a change in plans in the filming process. So before, I believe I talked about how we had our LS1 OEM windage tray, and the next step was going to be showing the front timing cover and the rear cover and everything on the motor. And I actually went ahead and did the timing covers, the oil pan and everything, and we had clearance issues. So instead of cutting and trying to make this windage tray work, this LS1 windage tray, which I figured I would run into a little bit more problems with that, I actually just, instead of cutting that and having to test fit and take the pan on and off and back and forth, we just decided to go ahead and buy the Moroso windage tray. So this windage tray was marketed and supposed to be the exact fit, proper fit for the Moroso pickup tube and our oil pan, which we have right here. So what I can tell you is from test fitting earlier, before I tightened everything down, this is going to work. I believe, I'm 99% sure this is going to work without having to do anything. This should just be able to drop on. So I wanted to be able to go through and show you guys that instead of having everything put together. I wanted to be able to film and talk about how, whenever you go to if you want to do a Moroso pan, do yourself a favor and get the right pickup tube for the pan, which is what we did, which I believe, I'd have to look up the part number. I'll attach it probably at the end when I clip this section of the video. I'll attach the part number for the pickup tube. But this pickup tube is meant for the 2142 pan that we have, and this windage tray is meant for it as well. I didn't want to spend the extra $110 in the very beginning because I was told after a little bit of research and everything that this windage tray would work, and it doesn't. So not without modification. So we went ahead and got the pickup tube, the windage tray, everything from Moroso. Also got the stud kit, as you can see. Now what I will tell you is the difference in these rear studs here is whenever you go to buy, when you have a Gen 4 rear cover and you get your, like if you have an OEM oil pan, the thread holes, the bolts go through the back of the oil pan. So you end up using, where are they at? Right here. You end up using these long bolts that are in this bag. Well, with the Moroso pan, you don't. The bolt holes for the back of the pan are just, just like that. So they don't go through the back of the pan the way that the OEM pan does. So your bolt setup is actually going to be different as well. So we ended up having some bolts lying around that were like, I think they're M8 by 1.25 maybe. Or no, M6, excuse me. M6 by 1.25, I believe. But instead of doing all that and mixing and matching and doing everything, we just, went ahead and got the stud kit. It's like $30. Everything finger tight. And now we're going to go ahead and drop the oil pan on. Well, excuse me, put the gasket on. We have our dabs of the gasket maker. That's the black, what is it called? Ultra black. So we went ahead and did our gasket maker on the corners, just where the cover and the block and everything meet on each cover. Now we're getting ready to put that gasket on, and then we're going to drop that oil pan on. So I just wanted to be able to touch and show you guys, you get what you pay for. And instead of, we could have saved money and had to modify some stuff, but instead of doing that, I would rather just pay the extra money, have something that drops right on, which is what we're getting ready to have right now. So wanted to show you guys that, and the next section of this video will be a completely assembled short block. So that'll be next. And here's the final product, guys. Moroso pan, pickup tube, and windage tray, all a direct drop on, no fabrication. Once again, you get what you pay for. So I did go ahead and before I put the pan on, I made sure that everything would line up, all the holes and everything. The stud wouldn't give me any type of issues. Putting it down on, and sometimes you have to move it just a little bit which way or the other, and you can make it work with bolts. But everything dropped right on over top of these studs, and I went ahead and used a straight edge on the top of the pickup tube and measured from the pickup tube to the block right here on the flange on the block, and then I measured from that surface, took away the gasket obviously. So minus the gasket, measured from the surface of the pan here and I have like the pickup tube clearance. I have just under a half inch. So they recommend anywhere from 3/16 to a half inch. So I have, it's closer to 3/8 really. I have right in the window of clearance that I need on the pickup tube, to the bottom of the oil pan. So that clearance is good, and everything, like I said, was just a drop on. It made it a lot easier than trying to fabricate and do everything. So I will attach the part number for, I know this is a 2142 pan, which will work with the, BMR, Yumi, aftermarket K members. And I'll just have to get the part number for the windage tray, and the pickup tube. So we have the, basically assembled short block at this point. So the next video, like I said, we'll just do the lifter install, cylinder heads, and then do push rod length and all that fun stuff. So that'll be the next video you guys will see in a little bit. We're going to be, waiting on cylinder heads for probably a couple days. So whenever we get those in, you guys will see that firsthand.